The transformations of the palazzo, promoted by Cosimo I and carried out by Vasari between 1555 and 1574, definitively altered the interior aspect of the building and obliterated much of the pre-existing decoration. Of the medieval decorations, some slight traces of painting remain on some of the ceilings, whereas the 15th century interventions, intended to adapt the rooms of the palazzo to Renaissance taste, can still be seen in some of the rooms used for meetings with representatives of the people, or for the reception of citizens requesting audience. In the Sala dei Duecento, where the Council of the Republic met, as Vasari shows in one of the paintings in the Sala dei Cinquecento, a team of woodworkers under the direction of the brothers Giuliano and Benedetto da Maiano made in the 1470s the richly carved ceiling with its motifs of rosettes and lilies, and the frieze with festoons of fruit enclosing the arms of the Republic. The same artists were, in all likelihood, responsible for the precious carved and gilded ceilings in the Sala dei Gigli, with gilded lilies and roses on an azure ground, and in the Sala dell'Udienza, for which the dividing walls had been completely rebuilt. So that the wall did not weigh heavily on the ceiling of the room below, an ingenious solution was devised, consisting of an arch set within the thickness of the wall and supporting its upper portion, while the lower portion rested on a large wooden beam made up of several pieces. The decoration of the two rooms was completed by Benedetto da Maiano with the elegant marble doorway in the classical style, surmounted by the statue of Justice in the Sala dell'Udienza, and, in the Sala dei Gigli, by the statue of St. John the Baptist, patron of Florence. The doors are covered with intarsia, and on the Sala dei Gigli side they show the two great Florentine poets, Dante and Petrarch. The Sala dei Gigli still preserves its Renaissance pictorial decoration. On one of the walls there is a large fresco painted by Domenico Ghirlandaio and his workshop in 1482. Fictive architecture, consisting of 3 arches in the classical style, illusionistically enlarges the space of the room. In the centre is Saint Zenobius, Bishop of Florence, accompanied by Saint Eugenius and Saint Crescentius. The choice of a sacred subject is in accordance with the directive laid down by the Florentine Signoria, who would admit none but religious paintings. But the view of the city in the background, where we recognize the cathedral and the lions supporting standards with the ensigns of the people and the commune, emphasizes the civic significance of the scene. In the 2 side arches, there are paintings of figures from Roman Republican history, regarded as examples of civic virtue. In reality, these figures seem to allude to members of the Medici family, models of patriotic virtues. Furius Camillus, who was recalled from exile by his fellow citizens, just like Cosimo il Vecchio. Decius Mus, who ensured the victory of the Romans, recalls Lorenzo, who restored peace after the Pazzi conspiracy. The actions of Cicero against Catiline and the conspirators allude once again to the failure of the Pazzi family's plot against the Medici. Finally, Scipio Africanus represents Lorenzo the humanist and man of letters. It is quite likely that Lorenzo the Magnificent took an active part in planning this decorative scheme, although at that time he was not among the magistrates who were responsible for the work in the Palazzo Pubblico. The fresco of the Sala dei Gigli thus constitutes an important precedent for a propagandist use of images, which will be constant under Cosimo I. Already in the Sala dell'Udienza, frescoed by Francesco Salviati in the years 1543 to 45, immediately after Cosimo moved into the palazzo, there are scenes showing the Roman consul Furius Camillus. The scene where Camillus attacks Brennus, king of the Gauls, as he weighs the gold for the ransom imposed by the Romans, alludes to the return to Florence of Cosimo after the death of Duke Alessandro. The triumph of Camillus prefigures the apotheosis of Cosimo, which would be shown most explicitly 20 years later by Vasari. The apotheosis of Cosimo appears in the centre of the ceiling of the Salone dei Cinquecento, the great hall created in the late 15th century out of Girolamo Savonarola's dreams of evangelical democracy, to house the assemblies of the just, and which Cosimo I transformed into a celebration of absolute power.